guys, it's Mehdi. Welcome back. Today we are going to deploying FastAPI application with CI/CD using GitHub Action Overflow, Docker, Kubernetes, and Argo CD. And we are going to actually as overflow of tools that we need for this technology. And we need FastAPI to create APIs. We need Docker as a container platform for developing, shipping, and running our application. We need Docker and we need Kubernetes. Actually, the Kubernetes is just open source container platform that automates the development and scaling and management of containerized applications. And we need GitHub Action Overflow. That should be our CI/CD service that allow us to automate our software development and work overflow. We need from here we need Argo CD. The Argo CD is just declarative Git OPS continue delivery tools for Kubernetes. That should be our monitoring. From here, you can see we have just simple with just simple structure of our project. Actually, it should be complete, but we don't want to write complex FastAPI app. We have just made that pay file to test our project. And we need GitHub Overflow YAML file to do CI/CD. We need Kubernetes folder directory, or you can change it to K8s as you want. We have H1 environment with name env, but I choose this name as default. Git ignore file, Docker file to build the Docker and images, and requirements txt file that should be our repository for dependency. What we need is from here, from left side, as you can see, that should be the structure or deploying FastAPI CI/CD. How does it work? As developer, after do any change and push the code in server, we want to do three things here. First of all, we want to create image file automatically and push this image file inside Docker Hub. Of course, we need to deploy it to Kubernetes cluster container as well. And at the end, we are going to use Argo CD to monitoring our relation between cluster and GitHub, our CI/CD. Okay, now let's us to start. And as always, I am going to create empty project directory. Okay, from here I change this name to for example FastAPI CI/CD. Okay, great. And what we need is from here I'm going to cd FastAPI CD and just open FastAPI project. First of all, I just want to create this structure for our project. Just by we need GitHub directory and subdirectory workflows, and under workflows need a file, maybe main.yaml file. Very good. The next step is to create a directory app for our FastAPI project, and subfile and you need as a defined main.py. And okay, Next, we need Kubernetes directory. Kubernetes, and inside Kubernetes, as you can see, we have two configuration files for Kubernetes deployment and service. Just typing deployment .yaml file and simple service that just should be YAML file. And our virtual environment .git ignore file to ignore FastAPI file. Give ignore inside GitHub. We need a Docker file, just Docker file, and we need this requirement that I created, that I will create it now from here. Just I'm going to terminal by type Python 3 minus mbb. Now, as you can see, we have our virtual environment and source VNV. Now I'm going to active just virtual environment by typing being active. If you have Windows, you just need to type this command, script active, I think is that. And great. After active that, you can see from here that is active. Just pip install. No, I copy pasted it. We need to create requirements.txt, but before that, because we are now, if I do pip list, you can see that we don't have any package here. For this project, we need to install pip install FastAPI, and of course UV core to run our project. Great. Now I can create my requirements.txt file again by pip list. Now, as you can see, we have our packages that we need. Now I can say pip freeze all inside requirement.txt. Okay, great. Now we have our package manager as well. About git ignore, we can do it just by typing git ignore. I think git ignore should be here. Git ignore.io, that is this website, and this will forward to this new IP user name. Okay, just typing FastAPI is not recognized here. We can use Flask, for example, or Django, and then I can just copy all of them from here and paste it inside this file. Okay, now I can close all of that. Before at all that we are continue with our project, just we need to test that our FastAPI app work. From FastAPI import static class FastAPI. Now we need to create the instance from FastAPI class by typing app FastAPI, And maybe we can create a simple endpoint. And to do for that, I can just say app.get endpoint should be start, and asynchronous method. Okay, for example, like documentation, and just return. And what we need to return, just hello CI/CD FastAPI. Okay, now I just need to run this app. To do that, we can say just if name equals name. Sorry, it should be main. And need to import UV-form. Just can I say UV-form.run. Okay, now the first things is to define this main file and this app as a default main project. I give this name of this file is main, and the name of this instance from FastAPI class, and host. Actually, as you can see, as a default we have local host for host and this port, and I just want to test it local, then I don't need to write it. Maybe just reload should be true for any change. Okay, great. If I open it, you can see that this method has default value, localhost, and this port. If you want to use other host or port, you can here change it. Okay, now let's do type Python app main.py. Great. Now, as you can see, hello CI/CD FastAPI. And if I open docs, we have this endpoint as well. Okay, our FastAPI is ready and work correctly. And it's depend to your project. If you have any other FastAPI with more structure, route, security, database, and model on something else, you can do that. Okay, that should be our simple FastAPI app. And now I'm going to start from Docker file. Okay, from Docker I'm going to create it. Just all that we need to say from Python. I'm going to choose version 3.10 Slim, and word order should be app inside container, and we need to copy source. Okay, now we want to say this requirements file is actually is our dependency that we need to install it. And just first we need copy to work order. Just requirements.txt, copy to this instance actually. Okay, now we can say run. It should be like that, and pip install actually the same way to when you are trying to install requirement.py. Always as well as always, just no, maybe we need else? We need to copy all from app to this destination app directory file, and expose port should be on this port to run, and it's the same time now we want to executable our project is the same way that we have already right here is we want to do something like that inside Docker. We can say just from here we need unicorn, and the app name, as you can see, the path is app. Inside app we have main, and inside main we have app instance from FastAPI class. We need to define host. I can say inside Docker, and we need to define port. I can say just should be here our port. Okay, great. Now as you can see we have our Docker file. Now we can close it. We have our Docker, we have git ignore, virtual environment. Now we can start from Kubernetes deployment .yaml file. Okay, for that at the first we need to define an app version, API version should be, for example, apps as you want. Okay, and then king should be deployment, and metadata should be actually from here node 3 we can define a name for that deployment. For this deployment configuration for Kubernetes, I can say actually yes, we can say just say FastAPI just deployment. That should be good. And we need to define spec. Inside spec again we can define replace, how many we want to repeat it, for example for 2 times, and selector should be match label. This match label we need to use that to connect to Kubernetes with username and password. If you are interested to use API to connect Kubernetes or something some with token or something else, you can change it. But as a default, I just want to use match labels. Okay. And my app name is FastAPI. Was our selector, and now we need template. Just inside template again metadata, and metadata. For our metadata we need to define label. That was actually the selector name, FastAPI, and for metadata template we can define an app name again. Is the same, and we can say FastAPI app. Now as you can see we need two different names, two name, just one for selector and one for template. And now from here what we need say, oh sorry, here I forgot to say that should be labeled, because from here I said I have match labels that with this name and label should be app. No, it's better. Okay, and now just from here define containers, and inside container we have a name for our Docker, for our cluster, Kubernetes cluster. Then I name it FastAPI container, and now I'm going to create image just by, for example, I give this the name, the username of my GitHub or Docker Hub, sorry. That should be Docker Hub. Okay, I can copy this username and then is coming the name of my images that I want to use. I can say the image name is my FastAPI app, and of course must be sure you use latest version. Okay, now is to define a ports for this cluster configuration. Just container port should be 8000. Actually, you don't need to write all of them. You can just copy paste from Kubernetes documentation, but it's depend to your project, but I prefer to write that. Okay, now we can come back to services. Actually, it should be the same, and like here I can copy this. Define API version should be, now this time we don't work with deployment, we work with services. I can say service, and metadata should be FastAPI service, and now speak, and now define just define a type for this service. Oh, okay, so that was actually that I have mean, sorry, here I told you this name is for to use username and password. That was just selector name, but here if you say you want to use load balancer, from here you can allow to log in from username and password, or if you want to use any other type you can change it. Ports, for ports, define a ports, and just by typing port, for example 80, and target port should be 8000. And again we need to call selector, and just to say app is name of the app, is FastAPI app. The same name, yes, FastAPI. Okay, that was our development file and service file. Great, we have ours. Now is the time to config our CI/CD pipeline. Now from here just I'm going to add it. That should not actually we can copy paste this command line because completely is coming from from documentation. You can directly copy paste it, but I have already changed some change. We can see together. The name of your pipeline CI/CD. I choose this name, and on push define branch because we need to work with branch main. And as you can see, under jobs we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step and just one build. We want to install last version of Ubuntu, and just from here the first step should be check out code and set up Docker, buildx, and what we need to do, as I have already said, after user push the code inside GitHub, our CI/CD pipeline, we need to do some step here. First, we want to create a Docker, create an image from project. Then we want to push image to Docker Hub and deployment to Kubernetes, and of course synchronize this Kubernetes with our monitoring Argo CD. That means from here, every time after push code inside GitHub, we want to log in Docker Hub, and of course we want to log in inside Docker Hub and push all inside Docker, and of course build Docker images and push again from here. This is just this is authentication user to log in inside Docker Hub, create image and push Docker image inside Docker Hub. That is pretty easy. Okay, how does it work? Docker token and Docker username. For this project, of course, we need a tools or this deployment CI/CD repository. You can use GitHub, GitLab, or Azure, or something else that you want. Now let's log into GitHub repository, create repository, FastAPI. I given the same name as our project, FastAPI CI/CD, and just create this repository. Now just first, first of all, we want from here, selector and variable. I'm going to action secret in new repository secret. The repository has no secret. Okay, now I'm going to choose a name. The first should be Docker username. Docker username, and if I open this Docker Hub, I can copy it, and then come back to here and add the secret. Actually, you can write your username directly inside this like that, but if you want to, I cannot recommend it to paste your password. But if you want to paste token, is not matter. If you want, you can create a token or directly pass token here. Okay, I can show you how does it work. Let me come back. I must just log into my settings. and inside this icon setting you can see personal access token. And just going to generate token, I name it this token, for example, access token description CI CD, or just FastAPI CI CD. And for this time, just for test, read, write, delete. I can copy this token and come back to here, new repository secret, should be our token, and Docker token, and yes, and I give this Docker token name, and I can add it. Now we have two different secret file repository. Okay, great. That was actually just our CI/CD pipeline. That's pretty easy, as you can see, with 5 steps. Just check out, log into Docker Hub and create image from project Docker image and push this Docker image to Docker Hub. As you can see, we have everything. Now we can start with our project. That should be great time. Don't know about here. Let me to put it inside here, about 32 minutes. Okay, great. Okay, before at all, you need just to set up your development environment, and it should be pretty easy. And we need some stuff here. I open here. The first development environment should be Git. You must be sure that you have Git, because we need Git at the first to push. As I have already said, we need as a developer to push our code inside GitHub repository. That means we didn't, I think. Let me come back. Okay. Just here. I can say git add all, git init, git add all, and should be our first code. Okay, great. Now if I come back, we have our first code. Yes, the first deployment environment should be Git. Must be sure you have Git. You can download it from here. Git download. If you have Mac, Windows, or Linux, there are 3 different platforms here. The second is Kubernetes, and you can again download Kubernetes. From here, download Kubernetes. You can again find 3 different platforms installed for Linux, Mac, and Windows. If in my system I have a Mac, but you can just install. If you have Apple, Silicon, or just Intel, you can use that. Actually, I have installed this from Homebrew. I can just use this code and this. If you want, you can use. If you have a Mac, it's the best one, easy way to install it. And we can check my Kubernetes version. Okay. Now, as you can see, client version and customized version. And the third development environment should be Argo CD. Okay, type Argo CD download. Again, we have 3 for 3 platform. If you have Linux, I have used this command line from Homebrew. If you have Windows, actually as well, you can install it. And the second, I'm mini core. I think is coming from here, Kubernetes. After install it, and I'm not sure, cannot remember. I think download mini core. Okay, that is installed on for mini core. Okay. If you have Mac again, you can use this command line to install on Mac. If you have Windows, Linux, you can use this command line. And if you have Windows, just use Choco, or you can download it. That was the package manager for Windows. Actually, it's the same like a Homebrew. If you're interested to work with command line, and if Windows installer, or you can just install from here, from Windows installer file. Okay, now we have all that we need. All I copy this and can close that. All everything's from here. We don't need it anymore. Now we have our deployment environment that we need. Now we can start. If you type mini code status, as you can see, and the first is stopped and is not installed or is not running. First we can type by minicode start. That should be installed to start it. If you're interested to use Kubernetes with Docker desktop, that should be possible as well, but I didn't get a great experience from here because every time I get error about memory size or something else, but it's possible under settings Kubernetes. You can active this Kubernetes from Docker. You can use from here if you want, but it should be running more than actually about 10 different images, and I don't like it, and every time I get some error. But if you want, you can use this. And okay, Minicore started and running. Here we can see as well. Started and it's running 1 minute ago. And the next step is to see which Kubernetes is active. Kubernetes from Minicore or from Docker. You can check this by typing kubectl just config use context kubectl config not user, sorry, is just use I think I can more than okay, no, it's better. Okay, great. Again, just minicope switch to Minicope context. As you can see now, we have switched it automatically to Minicope that we say we want to use Kubernetes from Minicope. And if you're interested to see how many Minicopes or how many different Kubernetes is exactly run or exist in your system, you can just typing actually from use, change it to just get, and that should be show all Kubernetes, kubectl configure context. Okay, great. It should be plural. Now, as you can see, we have Docker desktop with this cluster that should be running our cluster Kubernetes, or we can just use Minicope. Actually, that is default with here star is used as a default. Okay, the next step is time. The first step to install Argo CD. Argo CD should be work now. Just I'm going to type kubectl, just create namespace Argo CD. Okay, for me it already exists because we have already created this namespace, but you can just type this command line. And the second, you can, as I said, for me is already running, but I can do something else here. Okay, let me to copy this command line that you needed just from kubectl apply in Argo CD. You need to download this YAML file manifest from GitHub. Actually, you can find all of this stuff from command here. Argo CD documentation is the same way that Quick Start does create Argo CD, and then you can install it that I have already copy and paste it, or you can just copy from here. And how did this work? And actually that was, and that is this structure. How does it work from here? Then, as you can see, every time that we have push, our code in GitHub should be updated and show us this monitoring from GitHub. But it should be interesting now. I can show you how does it work. And now you can access the Argo CD server by port forward. I think getting a start. Bro, install Argo. Okay. Now, as you can see, port forward to access Argo is as default is port 8080. I can copy that. Okay, now as you can see is running on port 8080. That means if I open localhost on port 8080, I can see my access file from here. Great. On what's our username and password? Default username is admin. And for password, you need to return a password. Okay, login using TCL. Actually, as you can see, you can log in from command line as well. To return password. Okay, that should be great. Okay, I have it. I have from here. Okay, can copy paste from here. Now if you paste it, I create a new command that is running, that we want to running from background. I create new command line. Qubits get secret minus m Argo CD. You can see that the type and the secret, Argo secret, you can return password with different ways actually. The easy ways, that should be grab it. I prefer to use that, just Kubernetes get secret Argo from admin secret, and just we want to grab password and base it, of course, to decode it. Okay, that should be return a password. Must to be sure you don't need this percent. Just from here, copy and just log in. Okay, now I have logged to Argo monitoring from here. As you can see, at this time we don't have any apps. We need to create an app, and this app should coming from here, from our GitHub. That means to do that, again, I need to copy paste, or you can find it this create app inside Argo documentation. Okay, I cannot remember where that was, but I have this code. Okay, you can just say the Argo app created, and FastAPI CD is the name of this app. You can define any name that you want to run, but it's important that you have select and forward the correct GitHub address. As you can see, the name of my GitHub username, maybe repo is that, and the name of this repository FastAPI CI/CD, and path coordinates. That it should be important. That refer to this folder. If you choose other name, 8BS as a default or KBS, you must be sure you change this name. And namespace should be default, and realization that should be main, because we don't not work with master or something else. Okay, if I try enter, okay, application FastAPI created successfully. Now we have create Argo CD from our repository. That means if I come back, it should be running here and it's work correctly. And the second thing is to synchronize this communication between the repository and Argo CD. Just by typing Argo CD app and sync the app name. App name is FastAPI, or you can find it from here, that the name of our app name. Okay. After this synchronization, okay, failure to comply, we have just simple Argo CD. Let me to check it. Okay, failure to synchronize. Okay, we can check what is happened. If that should be our monitoring, then something is not work correctly. We can see it from here. And FastAPI app deployment from FastAPI. Now let me come back to GitHub. Padding. Okay. As you can see, we have pushed our code, that the goals or purpose was here, that after we push our code or release code to GitHub, we need to create the image, we need to log in, check out at the first, log in GitHub, in Docker Hub, create images and push Docker images inside Docker Hub, deploy to Kubernetes, and synchronize this change to Argo CD monitoring. That means now we couldn't connect to we couldn't able to create this Docker image, and my FastAPI list. Okay, I have I think I have something false here. Okay, we can check it again. Okay, yeah, we must be sure we can create Docker file from here. Okay, let me check. Deployment, metadata, name, FastAPI, deployment, spec, replace. That should be selector, and then metadata app, FastAPI app, template, metadata, labels, app, spec, containers, name, FastAPI container. I choose this name, and I have choose this name, my FastAPI app latest port. Okay, actually looks good. Now I can see services, service metadata again, FastAPI service, spec load plancer, port 80, 8000, and FastAPI app. That looks good as well. And what we need from here to, I don't know what was the error here. The build Docker image. Docker image build, it's successfully. Okay. We get error from here, requirements.txt file. That is our error. May I type false here? Requirements.txt is not empty. Okay. Okay, now requirements. Okay, and now actually we have it as well. Okay, copy it is copy requirements.txt file inside work order app and no cache directory -r. We are going to install it. Okay, I just want to reload it from here again, and just think from here we can run the job again. Okay, take a time, it's about 34 seconds. Okay, now we can see if it's our CI/CD pipeline work correctly or not. Okay, cannot create a Docker. I have the same error from here. Requirements.txt, cannot find it. Requirements, I have the same name here. Requirements. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. Requirements. I forgot this E. Oh, sorry. And sorry about that. Okay, git add all. And git add all. And git. We have this command line. Okay. Okay, now let me come back here. Now this time should be work. Okay, again. Docker image requirements. Again, okay, because requirements is still this last core requirements. Actually, here I have some things else. The name is requirements. Maybe not work actually. I forgot here the A and first commit 10 minutes ago. Oh, that looks better. Let's work it and build it. Okay, great. Now it's work with, of course, new copy name with the correct name requirements. Okay, great. Now it's work and we have our stable FastAPI. You can see first commit successfully here. We don't have any error. And okay, that means after this commit, we are create the image inside Docker file, Docker hub file. Okay, our fast that was 1 minute ago. After push code with pip with pipeline CI/CD inside GitHub workflow, we create the image and push this image inside Docker Hub. Now, as you can see, latest and 2 minutes ago. And from here, we have actually we must to see actually this change from here as well. Okay, let me to come back because it's running here now. Okay, this time looks better. It's created successfully because our GitHub pipeline worked as well. Now that means if I come back, synchronize is green. Now we don't have any error anymore. Okay, top. It's worked. Great. That was actually our deployment, the FastAPI inside GitHub. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. That was actually great things that you as developer need to do, and it's important every time to check your code. You need to have different version of your pipeline or your images from your project, and it's every time you have after push you have new version actually of your Docker images that should be created automatically. And that was great practice, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and to next time, have a nice day.